Most people, this just looks like a big mess, but almost everything in here is edible in one way or the other. I'll start out right here with the passion vine. I got a very beautiful flower. There's an unopened flower right there. Well, here's a fruit of the passion vine. Passion fruit. Got a couple of them hanging around here. The fruit's quite tasty. And them leaves look pretty rough. Anyways, you can make a tea with the leaves. It has a sedative effect, kind of like chamomile tea. Right below that, we got some pepper vine. Most people believe that it's poisonous. It can have a reaction with some people. Here's some of the berries off the pepper vine. They'll turn black, and they are edible. Some people can have a reaction though. I've ate a few berries and made my throat kind of itchy, so no more berries for me. They really taste bland. Don't have much flavor in my opinion. Kind of like a really weak grape. Here we have Yopon holly. We make tea with the leaves. It is, to my knowledge, it's the only plant native to the United States that contains caffeine. If you've heard the South American drink yerba mate, this is, well, it's in the holly family, the Ilex species, but it is, it's very similar to the yerba mate. Lilac species. These are a little small. The larger vines right here, the tips are edible. Any part of this plant that's tender enough to chew is edible. These tendrils are pretty tough. The tips, when they're cooked, they're very similar to asparagus in texture and taste. Here we've got a red sumac. When the berries ripen, they'll be red in color and have a sticky white coating, and that white coating tastes just like sour candy, and you can actually snap several of these heads off and soak them in cold water and make a lemonade with them. It's pretty good. Right here we have Muscadine grape. You can see a few unripe grapes right there. They have a very leathery hull. I really like the taste of them. They taste more like artificial grape, like grape bubble gum or something. They don't taste like store-bought grapes. And they also make a really good jelly. This is a wild lettuce. We have a few different species. I believe this is L. Biennis. I haven't tried it. It's supposed to be really bitter. And the other species not so bitter. This is a beefsteak weed. The underside of the leaves are purple. This is another invasive species. It's used quite a bit in Thai cooking as a seasoning. Has a very pungent smell. This is horsemint, Monarda punctata. You can make a mint tea out of the leaves. It contains thymol, and it can be used as a sedative. This is American Beautyberry. When the berry is ripe, they'll be a purple color. They are edible. They taste, to me, they kind of remind me of cough syrup. They don't taste the best when they're raw. They can be made into a jelly, and it is a very delicious jelly. Right here, this is a bay laurel. It's used for seasoning. It has bay leaves. I'm pretty sure everybody's heard of bay leaves. This is a wax myrtle. Leaves can be used for seasoning. The berries have an outer coating of wax that can be melted down. Actually, you boil the berries and the wax will rise to the top, and you can use it for making candles, that kind of thing. Has a very good smell as well. I like to add it to my gumbos also. This is arrowwood. It's viburnum species. It'll produce edible berries. This is parsley leaf hawthorn. It'll produce small red edible berries. The leaves can be used to make tea, which is said to be good for stage fright. And sassafras. I think just about everybody knows about sassafras. You can eat the leaves raw. They have kind of a citrus taste. The leaves can be dried and powdered, and then that makes gumbo filet. And also the roots can be boiled to make a tea. So mulberry. The trees we have on our property, they don't produce too many berries. I don't know the reason why. Maybe they don't like. This is devil's walking stick. You can see why it's called that. The young leaves can be boiled and ate as a green. From what I've heard, they don't taste too good. I haven't tried them. And it's about to produce berries. A very unusual looking tree. In the wintertime, all the leaves will fall off, and all that will remain is the main stalk. And the blackberry, they've already come and gone this year. The leaves can be used to make tea, and the root of the bark can be boiled as a treatment for diarrhea. Well, I said they had already come and gone, but there's a few berries that are still hanging around. Virginia persimmon. It looks like it's going to be a pretty good year for the persimmons. Some years this tree don't produce anything. Looking pretty good so far. You do not want to eat one of these if it's not fully ripe. Trust me. This is a Farkleberry tree. I want to give you a close-up of the bark. And we have some immature berries. When the berries ripen, they'll be black. They're pretty tasty. It's related to a blueberry. They don't get nearly as big as a blueberry though. This is nut's edge. The seeds are edible. And it has a triangular stem. And also, if I were to dig it up, which would take quite a bit of effort, they have tubers. And the tubers are they taste kind of like peanut. They don't look exactly like a peanut, but they're similar in taste. They're not bad. This is St. Andrew's cross. It doesn't have any flowers on it right now. It'll have a small yellow flower, which should be kind of in an X shape, which is where it gets the name St. Andrew's cross. The root bark can be made into a tea that is used to treat depression. And right here we have some goldenrod, which is very common. You make tea with the leaves. The tea is supposed to be good for UT infections. This is what remains of a skullcap. The bottom of it's still going, but I wish I had some of these flowers to show you. They're a very beautiful flower. The leaves can be used to make tea, and it's a nervine sedative. This is bee balm. The flowers, unfortunately, are already gone. It's very similar to the horsemint. It can be used to make a tea. The flowers can be used to make a tea as well as the leaves. This is yellow passion flower, Passiflora lutea. Oh, there's a. I have to get you a close-up. I found an open flower right there. The flowers are quite intricate. There's the yellow passion flower. flower. Very small. Anyways, a very intricate little flower. The ripe fruit on these look like miniature watermelons. It's about that big, and they have a very strange flavor. It's not, I don't know, it's not bad, it's not good, but I don't much care for the fruit. Pine tree. This is the loblolly pine, southern yellow pine. The pine needles can be used to make a tea. The pollen is edible. It contains testosterone. And the inner bark, I know up north, I believe the white pines, the inner bark is edible. The inner bark on these is not edible. Well, it's kind of dirty, but right here we have a wild violet. The flowers and leaves are edible. This is heavenly bamboo. It is an invasive species. It was not planted here. I guess a bird pooped out a seed. It will produce red berries, which are edible. This little pond here is covered with duckweed. Duckweed is pretty much just 3 tiny leaves with roots attached to the bottom. And duckweed is said to contain up to 45% protein. Right next to it, this one of this long white flower stalk. This is lizard's tail. The root can be used to make a salve to help out breastfeeding moms. This is smartweed. It'll produce a long, skinny white flower stalk, many small white flowers on it. It can be used as a seasoning to spice up your food. The leaves contain calcium. Just before I turned the camera on, I smashed one of these leaves up like that and was smelling it, and then not thinking, I wiped the sweat off my face with my fingers, and now my face is on fire. Not very smart. This is a box elder tree. The seeds can be roasted and eaten.